Welcome back to Richo Hobby and Art. I'm going to share with you this book I have on the Sunsphere. If you're coming over from Richo Woodworking, where you've seen the model that I've made of the Sunsphere, of a sort of a puzzle creation that I recently completed. There's a link in here if you want to go see that. So I acquired this book just a couple years ago, but it was actually, I think, put out in 1982 for the World's Fair that occurred in Knoxville in 1982. If you had seen a certain Simpsons episode from 1989, you'll probably know about that already. The Sunsphere is still up. It's still, you can go over there and pay $5, go up and see it. It's really worth checking out. A lot of this stuff here is long gone. This is still there, but some of the pavilions in the background, all the yellow stuff is gone. They have repainted the Sunsphere recently. That's what my the thing that I created is based on the new paint scheme. They are currently building a new visitor center, and mine does not reflect that because that is now happening. So probably back in 1982, you could buy this at the fair, or who knows, I don't know. It was put out by Community Tectronics, which were the firm that built the thing. I bought it a couple years, well, I don't know if I bought it. I got it a couple years ago when I was in Knoxville from the East Tennessee History Museum. They had a bunch of these. That was the 40th anniversary of the World's Fair, and I can't remember if I bought it or if they were just giving them away because they just had too many and they just wanted to get rid of them. Either way, it was copyright in 1982 by Community Tectronics out of Knoxville. This is the first printing. I'm sure there's a few of these out there. Some of you probably have one. It's in really good condition. I will say that I use this quite a bit for designing and building the Sunsphere that I built. There's a lot of, as it has pictures of the thing being built, it's very helpful. So actually it's called the Sunsphere and Other Famous Structures of Past World's Fair. So it starts with these other structures, such as the Crystal Palace in London. There's a picture, drawing of it. And there's different things about that. That was a big deal. Of course, the Eiffel Tower. That was for a World's Fair, 1889 exposition. And I should note, one of the reasons I did the Sunsphere model is because I had made the Parthenon for the 1897 Tennessee exposition. The Parthenon that is located in Nashville, Tennessee. And so I have videos on that as well. 1893, the Chicago World's Fair, the Columbian Fair, had the Ferris wheel, the first Ferris wheel ever. It was huge. These things were like the size of rail cars. Not rail cars like we have today, more like Pullman rail cars. And so it was a big deal. 1933, the Sky Ride of the Chicago Century of Progress. If you have seen my video on the Starling Spoons, you remember there was a spoon from the Chicago Century of Progress Fair. 1939, the Trilon and Perisphere, the 1939 New York World's Fair. 1958, the Brussels World's Fair, the Atomium. However you pronounce that, that is what that is. I've seen pictures of that before. Of course, the Space Needle, still around today, from the 1962 World's Fair in Seattle. That was a big deal. 1967, the geodesic dome concept. That was U.S. Pavilion at the Expo at 67 in Montreal. And so it leads up to talking about the sun in our lives. And, all that the sun has been for different generations, different centuries, things that have been built for the sun. Talk about the Sunsphere story, how it came about, the concept. Originally, it wasn't supposed to be very tall, and then it became quite tall. It's supposed to have a museum inside. That was scrapped pretty early on. How it fit in with the World's Fair concept, both as a short thing and as a tall thing. There's a lot of information there. Concepts on some of the plans of how it was going to be arranged. This picture right here is very helpful in building my sphere. It shows about 7 layers, and mine is based on 7 discs. And so that was really helpful for me. And then it starts with the construction, how they laid it out. And Community Tectonics was, in charge of this, but they also brought in steel workers from Bethlehem Steel and some other places. So it really just shows it coming about, coming out of the earth, reaching up. All of this was very helpful in building my model. And so a lot of unique photos in this thing. It appeared that they would make each section and then raise it up on a crane to put in place. And so, of course, the sphere wasn't made on the ground. It was made piece by piece and then raised up and joined together. It shows in this picture here. And of course, you have a picture of the steel workers together with the flag and the tree that was on top, posing for a nice photo. And of course, as it comes more and more together over time, this huge power plant that they had, electrical facilities, shown over here, and it shows some of the buildings already in place in downtown Knoxville. There's the old Andrew Johnson Hotel. This is before the Truist Tower. Truist Tower would be about here in the background, and that hadn't been built yet. Different vantage points. Again, just different looks at the tower, or at the Sunsphere. Different unique views. Here's a painter standing there. And we saw this again this last October, when we had painters that were painting it back to the original blue color. And I went out and took photos of, not this close of course, but painters up on their scaffolding. Doing the painting. Of course, the year before that, they were working on the glass, the golden glass of the sphere itself, getting that cleaned up, and that's done occasionally here. Still looking at that sort of iron enclosure. And then the sphere, the glass starts coming in. These are all panes of glass. It's not just glass, it's like a reinforced material, and it's all coated with gold. Certain specific carat of gold, so it has that gold appearance on it. So this is the final. There was a restaurant inside, and I think there are two restaurants, one on one level, one on the other, in addition to two observation levels. They still use it for special events, so you could still go there and rent the facility for that, as well as the observation deck that I mentioned earlier. So there's kind of really a close-up of the Sunsphere, looking at it from the World's Fair. This is the Clinch Avenue Viaduct right here that kind of separates World's Fair Hall over here. Now Makers Exchange, the Tennessee Hotel are all there now. Over here would be the Art Gallery, the Knoxville Art Museum, and the USA Pavilion, long gone. There's kind of a walking bridge now over the lagoon. Of course, the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, over there in the background. And just more pictures of the construction of the Sunsphere. There's the inside. The inside pictures shows the restaurant. I think this is one restaurant and this is the other one. I can't really tell. I wasn't there. I wasn't here in 1982. I was living somewhere else. But definitely a lot going on. And you could tell that 1980s decorations, that sort of thing going on there. And, the Hardee's. They had a Hardee's restaurant at the base of the Sunsphere. They also had Petro's. Petro's is still around today here in Knoxville, in Tennessee, and other locations. I like it. My wife and I go there often. It's not at the base of the Sunsphere anymore. There's one in Market Square. There's other locations around town. So we go there quite often. And, of course, your information about the book and who put it together and that sort of thing. So... yeah, and then here's the back page, or the back cover, showing that USA Pavilion, as I mentioned before, which is not there anymore. They just really had no reason to keep it. They tried, but it just wasn't going to work out. This power plant's long gone. This is now somewhere over here is a big, large building. I think that's over. Well, that's over here, but Yeah, and of course the University of Tennessee, which is much larger than this. There's a little edge of Neyland Stadium in the corner here, but and then the Smokies would be out. Actually, they'd be this way. There might be some of them here, but most of them are over here. So anyway, that's my book on the Sunsphere, and check out my video on the model I created. It is a sort of sequential discovery puzzle, and so it has some different features. Thanks for watching.